Erika Kirk is allegedly in full panic mode right now, and no, that's not an exaggeration. Because according to internet chatter that exploded overnight, the carefully curated image she spent years protecting may be cracking in real time. And the question everyone keeps asking is simple: how did it unravel this fast? Social media timelines are on fire after unverified claims surfaced that an ex-boyfriend may have exposed private images that were never meant to see the light of day, allegedly, and before anyone could even catch their breath, whispers started spreading that Erika was quietly pushed out of Turning Point USA, not resigned, not transitioned, dumped again, allegedly. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because this isn't just about rumors or messy breakups. It's about optics. It's about power. And it's about what happens when the internet decides to dig instead of clap. People are pulling old clips, old interviews, old timelines. And suddenly the story we were all told doesn't seem so airtight anymore. Coincidence? Bad timing? Or the internet finally connecting dots that were always there? Because when someone builds a brand on discipline, control, and moral authority, even rumors hit harder. And right now, the rumors are screaming dot, so buckle up. Because if even half of what's circulating is true, this isn't damage control. It's a collapse. You ever notice how some people spend years crafting the perfect public image only to have it implode faster than a cheap fireworks show? Well, buckle up, because according to the chatter going viral online, Erika Kirk might be living that nightmare right now. For years, she's presented herself as the picture of discipline, the embodiment of moral clarity, a woman who didn't just live a certain way, she preached it. And the audience ate it up. But now, everything she carefully built is under siege, and the chaos is spilling onto timelines, forums, and private chats in ways that no amount of spin can fix. People are clicking, sharing, and dissecting every detail like it's a national emergency. And the internet isn't showing mercy. It all allegedly started with an ex-boyfriend. Yes, the one no one was supposed to talk about. Suddenly, whispers turned into screenshots, screenshots turned into threads, and threads turned into wild speculation about private images that were never meant to go public. And let's just say, according to the chatter, these aren't your everyday bathroom selfies. The kind of photos that, if true, could make a person rethink their entire public persona. And of course, they did exactly that. Social media blew up. Fans, followers, critics, everyone suddenly had an opinion. And somewhere in the middle of it all, there were rumors that Turning Point USA quietly pushed her out. Not a graceful exit, not a career transition, not a polite thank you for your service. Pushed, dumped, allegedly. But here's the thing, this isn't just gossip about leaked images or bad timing. This is the kind of story that exposes cracks in a brand built on moral authority. People are now obsessively digging through old interviews, old events, old photos, and suddenly, little inconsistencies aren't so little anymore. Things that once seemed trivial, like a casual comment on social media or a seemingly innocent trip, are now being analyzed as if the entire truth is hiding in plain sight. And while we don't know exactly what is fact and what is speculation, the perception alone is enough to cause a meltdown of public trust. And it's wild because this kind of situation doesn't just happen overnight. It's the culmination of years of careful curation colliding with a digital world that refuses to forget. Every claim she made about discipline, about living a controlled and morally upright life, every subtle message she sent to position herself as the ultimate standard, it's all being pulled apart by timestamps, by public appearances, by seemingly harmless photos that now look completely different in context. And let's be real, once the internet decides to become a detective agency, no alibi is safe, according to sources in various threads. People are comparing old appearances, old social media activity, and even interviews she gave years ago. And suddenly patterns emerge. Allegedly, her life wasn't as cut and dry as she claimed. Allegedly, there were relationships, social events, and behaviors that contradict the disciplined, controlled persona she sold to the public. And while we're talking about allegedly, because nothing has been officially confirmed, the speed at which people are connecting dots is nothing short of impressive. It's almost like watching a live investigation unfold. with everyone from casual fans to conspiracy theorists acting as amateur sleuths. What's really causing the frenzy is the timing. Because if even a fraction of these claims are true or even appear to be true, then everything she claimed about her personal life, her relationships, and her moral choices comes into question. And that's a huge problem when your entire career, your credibility, and your public identity are built on the idea that you're untouchable, disciplined, and morally pristine. Suddenly, one alleged leak from the past can threaten years of work, months of careful narrative construction, and a reputation that took decades to craft. And as you watch the online commentary explode, you start to see the classic pattern of a public figure in crisis. There's the denial stage, the partial statements, the silence punctuated by vague reassurances. And there's the public watching, waiting for the next piece to fall. Every alleged screenshot, every alleged post, every resurfaced photo becomes a reason to ask, what else isn't true? What else has been hidden? And when the narrative is already about moral superiority and control, the stakes aren't just high, they're catastrophic. At the same time, people are pointing fingers at the people who were around her professionally and personally during this period. Anonymous sources online are suggesting connections, motives, and timelines that make the whole story feel bigger than just one person. Allegedly, decisions made years ago by people in her circle may have set up the perfect storm for this very moment. And now, suddenly, no one is untouchable. Every association is being examined. Every past move is being dissected. Every professional and personal connection is being scrutinized, as if the internet itself has become a tribunal. And just to add fuel to the fire, the social media reaction has been relentless. Memes, commentary threads, hot takes, and videos analyzing every alleged leak are going viral. The commentary isn't subtle, it's biting, sarcastic, and relentless. And in the middle of it all, the person at the center of the storm allegedly has nowhere to hide. It's a modern public shaming spectacle, with every detail magnified and every inconsistency amplified. So as this storm builds, the question hanging in the air is unavoidable. If even a fraction of what's being alleged is true, how does someone survive a narrative collapse like this? How do you maintain credibility when your brand, your career, and your reputation are all publicly questioned in real time? And more importantly, how much longer can the story simmer before it completely consumes everything she's worked to create? Because here's the truth of the situation. In today's online world, perception is reality. And right now, the perception is that Erika Kirk's carefully constructed image may be unraveling, thread by thread, allegation by allegation, rumor by rumor. And whether the claims are fully verified or not, the damage is already done. The whispers have turned into chatter. The chatter has turned into threads, and the threads have turned into a full-blown storm. The internet is watching. Fans are dissecting. Critics are laughing. And somewhere, the person at the eye of this alleged storm is allegedly panicking, watching as everything she thought was untouchable teeters on the edge of collapse. And just like that, the stage is set for what could be the biggest controversy in this digital saga yet. And just when you think the storm couldn't get any messier, it does. Because the deeper people dig, the more alleged layers emerge. Social media sleuths have started pulling together timelines, old photos and interviews, and suddenly the narrative that was once neatly packaged is anything but. According to the chatter, Erika's carefully crafted story about being single, disciplined, and morally untouchable doesn't exactly match the alleged reality. Allegedly, there were relationships, there were nights out, there were behaviors that contradict the public persona she meticulously curated. And once people started piecing it together, the alleged contradictions became impossible to ignore. Sources anonymous naturally are saying that Erika's ex, the same one who allegedly leaked the private images, was not just a casual fling. No, according to the threads, this person was intimately involved in her professional and personal circles, allegedly, and as the alleged leaks spread, people began questioning everything: the timing of events, the way she positioned herself professionally, and even how Turning Point USA handled her sudden exit. Was it resignation? Was it a quiet push? Allegedly, the answers aren't simple. and the speculation is relentless. And while the public might be consuming every alleged detail like it's breaking news, insiders are allegedly watching the fallout with equal intensity. Alleged reports suggest that memos, meetings, and whispered conversations in executive offices have started circulating. Allegedly, words like leadership review and emergency meeting have popped up in internal channels. And whether that's true or just more speculation, the perception alone is enough to spark a media-feeding frenzy. Because in the age of virality, perception often outweighs fact. Meanwhile, the alleged financial implications are also under scrutiny. From leaked reports floating in online forums, people are claiming that her influence in the organization could have affected budgets, contracts, and even event planning. Allegedly, lavish spending and perks tied to her position were noted in online threads, fueling claims of mismanagement. Whether that's verified or not doesn't seem to matter. Online discussion is relentless, and every alleged claim gets magnified. The kind of magnification that makes a career teeter. Public reaction, of course, has been merciless. Comment sections are full of biting sarcasm, memes dissecting alleged timelines, and heated debates about credibility and morality. Allegedly, some fans are defending her, pointing out that rumors aren't proof. But the counterside is relentless, pointing to old photos, interviews, and social media posts that seem to contradict her claimed lifestyle. And as the alleged details pile up, it's becoming impossible for casual observers to untangle fact from fiction. Every alleged post, every alleged photo, every alleged interview snippet is being scrutinized, analyzed, and weaponized. And here's where it gets even more intense. Allegedly, some of the leaks coincide with public appearances that were meant to reinforce her image. Old events, charity appearances, even interviews that were meant to highlight her commitment and discipline are being dissected. Allegedly, people are noticing details in the background, timestamps and associations that suggest a far more complicated reality than the one presented publicly. And as speculation mounts, the story grows exponentially. Because in the online universe, drama feeds on itself. What makes this so captivating to watchers isn't just the alleged scandal itself, it's the timing, the optics, and the stark contrast between image and alleged reality. Allegedly, one of the most shocking aspects is how her public persona as a disciplined, controlled, and morally upright figure may be directly challenged by these alleged leaks. And the irony isn't lost on anyone. The very traits that earned her credibility are now the very ones being questioned most harshly, allegedly. Some sources online are claiming that the connections within her professional circle could also be affected. People are speculating about introductions, networking, and professional overlaps that could have set the stage for this drama. Allegedly, timelines suggest that key players in her orbit were aware of certain details long before the public caught wind, and that raises questions about accountability, loyalty, and strategy. It's enough to make anyone pause and think, who's really pulling the strings and who's just caught in the crossfire? And the alleged psychological impact? According to chatter, people speculate she's panicking, watching as the digital world dissects her every move. Every past relationship, every old interview, every alleged misstep is being revisited with merciless scrutiny. And whether any of it is confirmed doesn't matter, the perception is already viral. Online threads are comparing old timelines with newly surfaced alleged content, making her carefully built narrative look increasingly shaky. Allegedly, the storm is relentless, and the social media momentum shows no signs of slowing as the alleged scandal continues to spread. More questions keep popping up. How much of the public persona was real? How much of the professional authority was tied to image control? And how long before alleged internal pressures, alleged memos, and alleged leadership conversations lead to real consequences? Allegedly, some online commentators are already speculating about resignations, leadership reshuffles, and the potential ripple effects across the organization. And even if it's just speculation, the intensity and scale of the conversation make it feel very, very real. And then there's the human element. Allegedly, people online are questioning the personal cost, the stress, the pressure, and the toll of maintaining such a tightly controlled public image. Allegedly, the combination of leaked material, online scrutiny, And professional fallout could create a perfect storm, and viewers are watching with popcorn in hand as it allegedly unfolds. And because the narrative is so dramatic, multi-layered, and allegedly explosive, it's the kind of story that keeps people glued to every thread. Every post, every rumor, desperate for the next update, allegedly. This is exactly the kind of scenario where a public figure built on discipline and moral authority can falter under the weight of scrutiny. Allegedly, the very fans who once praised her integrity are now dissecting alleged contradictions. And the contrast between public image and alleged reality is causing a ripple effect of doubt, discussion, and debate. And as the storm allegedly grows, it's becoming less about whether anything is confirmed and more about how explosive the online speculation has become. The situation, allegedly, is spiraling. Social media threads are multiplying, discussions are intensifying, and every alleged piece of evidence is magnified, dissected, and debated. And as the narrative grows, so does the intensity of alleged consequences, the scrutiny of her alleged professional associates, and the public fascination. Because when something like this allegedly hits the internet, it rarely fades quietly. And as the alleged fallout continues, viewers are left on the edge of their seats, wondering how far will this go and what's going to happen next. And here we are at the point where the storm allegedly reaches its peak. Because when a carefully curated public image begins to unravel, the consequences aren't subtle, they're dramatic, explosive, and according to chatter online, potentially career-ending. Allegedly, every thread, every screenshot, every resurfaced clip is contributing to what some are already calling the most chaotic moment in recent online commentary. And while nothing has been officially verified, the speed at which the story is spreading has made it impossible for anyone to ignore. Allegedly, the internal environment at Turning Point USA is tense. Reports floating around forums suggest that emergency meetings have been called, leadership restructuring is being discussed, and whispered conversations hint at potential resignations. And whether these claims are true or simply speculative doesn't matter. The perception alone is enough to send ripples through the organization. People are reading between the lines, piecing together every alleged detail, and suddenly, a narrative that was once tightly controlled is teetering on the edge of collapse. Public reaction is, predictably, intense. Fans, critics, and casual observers alike are dissecting alleged timelines, comparing alleged leaks, and analyzing every public statement with forensic precision. Allegedly, some commentators are even framing the situation as a cautionary tale when you build your career on perfection. Discipline and moral authority, even the slightest alleged crack can trigger a landslide. And that landslide, according to the chatter, seems to be in full motion. Then there's the alleged fallout for personal relationships. According to online speculation, people in Erika's inner circle are reportedly distancing themselves, quietly recalibrating their own narratives while keeping their names attached just enough to stay relevant. Allegedly, friends, colleagues, and professional allies are watching the situation with careful eyes, aware that proximity to the scandal could have consequences of its own. And in the world of online commentary, perception is everything. So even the smallest gestures or absences are being magnified into full-blown storylines. The alleged financial impact is also becoming a talking point. Online threads suggest that potential repercussions for leadership changes, public scrutiny, and leaked material could influence funding, sponsorships, and organizational initiatives. Allegedly, some are even speculating that contracts tied to influence, speaking events, and brand partnerships might be at risk. And while this is all speculative, the rumor mill has a way of turning speculation into perceived fact, especially when every alleged post and leaked screenshot is being amplified by a voracious digital audience. And let's not forget the alleged human element, the panic, the stress, and the pressure of navigating an online storm of this magnitude. Allegedly, sources claim that every public appearance now carries extra scrutiny. Every social media post is examined for hidden meaning, and every interaction is viewed through the lens of past alleged discrepancies. The tension is palpable, even from afar, because in a situation like this, perception is everything. and the internet thrives on unraveling public figures with laser focus. Allegedly, some social media sleuths are even connecting dots to broader circles of influence. Former colleagues, professional connections, and even social acquaintances are being analyzed for their potential role in the story. Was someone aware of alleged activity? Did someone play a part in orchestrating exposure? Allegedly, the speculation alone is enough to make the entire situation like a political thriller. And the more people dig, the more connections emerge, creating a web of alleged intrigue that's impossible to ignore. What makes this story so captivating is the combination of timing, contrast, and perception. Allegedly the public persona. Allegedly the public persona. Reputation are all on the line. Speculation about resignations, leadership shakeups, and even organizational instability has surfaced online. Allegedly, the digital storm is relentless, with discussions, memes, and commentary threads multiplying at an alarming rate. And as the alleged fallout continues, viewers are left questioning the reality behind the narrative. How much is true? How much is perception? And how much is simply the internet having a field day? And here's the final piece that allegedly makes this entire scenario so dramatic. No one really knows what comes next. The situation is unfolding in real time, with online chatter, alleged leaks, and speculative commentary shaping the story as it happens. Allegedly, there could be more revelations, more scrutiny, and more fallout in the coming days. Each new piece adding fuel to an already raging fire. And whether the truth ever fully emerges or not, the drama itself is enough to keep everyone hooked. So the question now, and the one everyone is asking, is simple. How do you recover from this? How do you rebuild a reputation when the internet has already crafted a narrative that may or may not be entirely accurate? Allegedly, the answers are murky, the consequences unpredictable, and the public watching with unrelenting intensity. And in a world where perception often outweighs reality, the stakes couldn't be higher. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just a story about alleged leaks, alleged relationships, or alleged professional fallout. It's a story about control, image, and the digital court of public opinion. And according to the chatter, Erika Kirk may have just learned the hard way that even the most carefully curated image is vulnerable when the internet decides to investigate, speculate, and amplify every alleged detail. The storm isn't over. Allegedly, it's only just beginning. And as viewers, all we can do is watch, analyze, and speculate right along with everyone else. Because in the digital age, drama like this isn't just news, it's a spectacle. And the question hanging over the entire saga is the same one that everyone seems to be asking: what happens next? And who will be left standing when the dust finally settles? So now the burning question is, what happens next? Will Erika Kirk manage to reclaim her image, or is this the moment where the digital world finally claims its prize? Allegedly, the leaks, the rumors, and the relentless scrutiny aren't slowing down, and the clock is ticking. Every post, every comment, every resurfaced clip is another piece of the puzzle, and the internet isn't giving anyone a break. This isn't just a story, it's a live spectacle, and the audience is glued to every twist and turn, and here's where you come in. What do you think is really happening behind the scenes? Are the leaks a coordinated exposure, a personal vendetta, or just the chaotic power of online speculation? Could a public figure really survive an avalanche of scrutiny like this, or is the collapse inevitable? Your opinions matter because this isn't just watching history, it's being part of the conversation. So smash that like button if you're as shocked as everyone else. Drop your thoughts in the comments, don't hold back. The wilder the theory, the better. And of course, hit subscribe and ring that bell because this digital saga is far from over, and you don't want to miss a single explosive update. Trust me, the next chapter is going to be even bigger, and you'll want a front row seat.